Could World War I have been avoided? It's a haunting question that echoes through the corridors of history. Imagine a world where the cataclysmic events of the Great War never unfolded, where the echoes of gunfire and the trenches of the Western Front remained dormant. At the heart of this speculation lies a critical moment, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, an event that ignited the flames of global conflict. Let's delve into the what if, exploring the untold possibilities and unraveling the threads of history that might have woven a different tapestry for the 20th century. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was assassinated on June 28, 1914 in Sarajevo, Bosnia, by Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist. Princip, a member of a nationalist group seeking the independence of South Slavic peoples from Austro-Hungarian rule, seized the opportunity after an attempt on the Archduke's life earlier the same day had failed. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand is often seen as the spark that set off the powder keg of pre-existing tensions among European powers, contributing to the outbreak of one of the deadliest conflicts in history. The war had profound and lasting impacts on the political, social and economic landscape of the 20th century. In the absence of the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the intricate web of events that followed would have unraveled differently. Vienna would not have found cause to issue threats against Serbia, eliminating the catalyst for Russia to come to Serbia's defense. Without this escalation, there would be no requirement for Germany to intervene in support of Austria, thus averting the subsequent calls for France and Britain to honor their treaties with Russia. The absence of this pivotal event would have significantly altered the course of the geopolitical tensions that culminated in the outbreak of World War I. Richard Ned Lebow, professor at King's College London, believed the war may have been avoided altogether with the Archduke's survival. Franz Ferdinand was the strongest spokesman for peace in Austria-Hungary. He believed that a war with Russia would lead to the downfall of both empires. With that in mind, it's interesting to imagine what that world would have looked like. The first and possibly most historically significant thing is that the European nations that we currently know of, especially in Central and Eastern Europe, may look quite a bit different today. Without the triggering event of the assassination, the tensions that led to the dissolution of Austria-Hungary might not have reached a breaking point. The multinational empire, comprising various ethnic groups, could have weathered the challenges it faced. The preservation or transformation of Austro-Hungarian Empire into a multinational successor state could have offered an alternative path for Central Europe, characterized by greater political cohesion, diplomatic solutions, and economic collaboration. The avoidance of the dissolution of the empire might have had profound implications for the region's stability and the course of European history. Not only could the Austro-Hungarian Empire possibly have survived and thrived if not for World War I, but it is possible that the Bolshevik Revolution would not have had the ground to stand on, and the monarchy that ruled Russia for nearly 250 years might have continued. The absence of World War I's would have prevented many of the factors of civil unrest that led to the February Revolution. In fact, in the 2 decades prior to the war, economic conditions in Russia had been improving, with new crops and the Trans-Siberian Railway provided access to the east that was beneficial to the empire. While history doesn't give much credit to Nicholas II as a ruler, Russia's attacks on both Germany and Austria led to widespread food and fuel shortages, along with staggering casualties. The socialist Russian Empire that was such an adversary for the United States for much of the second half of the 20th century may have never existed had Franz Ferdinand survived. Not only is it possible we would not have known a socialist Russia, imagine a world where both the word Nazi and the name Adolf Hitler would not be remembered. After World War I, Germany faced profound consequences under the Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919. The treaty imposed significant territorial losses on Germany, including the ceding of Alsace, Lorraine to France and parts of West Prussia and Posen to Poland. Germany was also subjected to strict demilitarization, limiting the size and capabilities of its military. And it was burdened with accepting full responsibility for causing the war through the controversial war guilt clause. Economically, Germany grappled with the weight of reparations imposed by the Allies to compensate for war damages. Hyperinflation struck the country in the early 1920s, leading to a sharp devaluation of the German mark and contributing to social and political instability. The democratic Weimar Republic replaced the German Empire, but the government faced challenges from both the extreme left and right, culminating in events like the Beer Hall Putsch in 1923, an unsuccessful coup attempt by Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. The economic hardships and political turmoil paved the way for international intervention through the Dawes Plan in 1924 and the Young Plan in 1929, which restructured Germany's reparations and provided economic assistance. However, the global economic downturn of the Great Depression in the late 1920s and early 1930s hit Germany hard, exacerbating unemployment and social unrest. These challenging conditions set the stage for the rise of radical ideologies, notably the ascension of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party, ultimately leading to the outbreak of World War II. Had Franz Ferdinand survived to keep the peace, then the harsh punishments levied on Germany after the First World War would never have existed. Germany likely would have never gone through the economic or cultural beating it took in the 1920s. It's easy to imagine a Germany today that is much a larger nation, and a Europe where the German language is much more common, and world that doesn't remember Germany for the war crimes committed in the Second World War. The First World War have been avoided, but neither would the wars that marked the 20th century have happened. This means that the Second World War, Vietnam, and the Cold War never happen. The borders and governments that exist today in Russia and Europe might be drastically different, technology and science both driven in large part by the need to stay ahead of political rivals or develop war-winning weapons, are much slower to develop. Would the United States ever had put a man on the moon? Would the average person be walking around with a miniature computer in their pocket right now? Medicine might be 50 years behind where it currently is. In contemplating a world without the First World War, we navigate a realm of intriguing possibilities and altered destinies. The absence of Archduke Franz Ferdinand's assassination unravels a chain of events, reshaping the course of history in profound ways. If you think of his death as a domino, the thought of pulling it away and stopping the chain of wars that followed, without the cataclysmic conflict that defined the 20th century, we envision a different geopolitical landscape, one where empires may endure, radical ideologies might not gain foothold, and the global stage unfolds without the scars of devastating warfare. As we reflect on the hypothetical scenarios presented, we are reminded that the echoes of the past, whether born of war or peace, resonate through time, shaping the narratives that define our shared history. A world without the First World War prompts us to ponder the delicate balance of historical forces and the far-reaching consequences that emanate from pivotal moments in time.